Not to mention, Nima, this Israeli attack on Turkish assets in Syria.
It is significant.
It is, because this could be, let's say, the prelude to the prelude of the next war, which, by the way, the death cult, they already said that Turkey is next. So they are getting ready for a confrontation with Turkey sooner or later. So this is immensely dangerous. And of course, Iran is looking at it, and they could open another front. And obviously, it depends on how this throat slitter, head chopper, a government in Damascus is going to react. But at the same time, it's something that I wanted to ask you specifically about. Do you see an American coordinated move to provoke extreme trouble for Iran's neighbors and to cut the possibility of Iran using their neighbors for trade and commerce? And I'm thinking specifically of Turkey and Pakistan and the Central Asians as well. How do you see that? Do you think this is a strategy? Do you think this is lashing out in desperation? Do you think that they know how to do it, even if they wanted to do it? And do you think these neighbors, Turkey, Pakistan, the Central Asia, will accept that?
I think both governments in Pakistan and Turkey, they know Donald Trump has not a lot, to offer them in a long run, because his term going to be over in 2.5 years. And that's a major issue for both of these two governments. For the case of Turkey, I think it's less complicated than Pakistan. Pakistan is important because the connection between Iran and China goes through Pakistan, and that is significant. I think the coordination may be behind the scene, something between Iran and Pakistan without telling anybody, would be to somehow Pakistan trying to pretend to cooperate with the United States, or they're under tremendous pressure. But what's going on, what the reality would be somehow different. They're going to do their best to somehow, reduce the tensions with Iran as well, because they don't want any sort of tensions with Iran, in my opinion. And after all, these are two neighboring countries, and they have a long, term strategy together, in my opinion. And when it comes to the security, when it comes to prosperity of the region, they share the same sort of mindset. And Donald Trump putting that much pressure on Pakistan, basically we can accept that some little policies would change in a short run, but in a long run, I don't see, huge difficulties for Iran and for Pakistan to cooperate, to find their way out of that complexity that Donald Trump is trying to make for them, in my opinion. When it comes to Turkey, the case is totally different, because the relationship between Turkey and Iran, it's about bilateral relationship, and the United States is not going to be able to put pressure the way they can put on Pakistan. Because the reality in Pakistan is different. We know, because of the internal and all those issues that we know that. But Turkey wants to get closer to the United States. The problem with Turkey is that Israel is on their way, and Israel is not something to be sacrificed.
Exactly.
I would say Israel can sacrifice everything that the United States has in the region to improve its position in the region. which by the way, they're doing this right now. The attack on Turkey, to be honest, why do you need to attack Turkey in Syria? After all, if you can talk, if you have the connection to talk with Turkey, I'm not talking directly, but using the Tom Barak, which is, we know that he's a Zionist, he's a 100% Zionist, and he supports Israel. If you can talk with Turkey, why do you need to attack them? It means there are significant differences in Syria, which they cannot accept. That's why they're deepening the problems that Donald Trump has in the West Asia, Pepe. Israel has zero interest to help Donald Trump to facilitate his, agenda if he wants to de-escalate. Israel doesn't want that. Israel wants to deepen the problems for the United States in the West Asia in order to keep them forever in that region.
Absolutely. And the craziest thing is that the Trump administration doesn't see it. Well, they can't, because after all, they are controlled by us.
They don't care about it, Pepe. We can say they know it and they don't care about it because Donald Trump...
It's worse, they are helpless. They cannot change it.
No. They're tremendous, Pepe. The establishment in the United States is so much in power that you don't see, the obvious. Just look at the obvious. The war in Ukraine, JCPOA, which was negotiated during the Obama administration. Then after withdrawal of the Trump administration from JCPOA, the Biden administration had the opportunity to get back to JCPOA. What did they do? Nothing. What does that mean? It means the Zionist entity is ruling everything in Washington.
Of course. And this is not going to change. And obviously what they want is not a stable situation for the U.S. They want chaos. And they want chaos, and they are at war with everybody. Because their death cult, it's the intrinsic ideology of the death cult is war against everybody and total chaos. So they can profit from it. It's to play divide and rule, but in the whole of West Asia and beyond. And obviously, an administration like this, first of all, as we're starting discussing today, it's an empire of grifters. The only thing that matters for them is personal gain for the capo and for the cronies and the vassal. And the vassals, they are treated like, dog shit, essentially. So the Pakistanis, I think they're starting to see the picture, how they are being now antagonized frontally, and how the Americans can even use India against Pakistan again, because they control Modi. Modi is a vassal of the international Zionist axis. So they can use Modi and Modi's cronies against Pakistan to punish Pakistan, because essentially Pakistan didn't do what the Trump administration was expecting from them, which is help in the capitulation of Iran, not mediation. I think all of us were fooled these past 2 months when the MOU dead cat was in coma, until I would say the final death of the dead cat, which was early this week. The Americans essentially were trying to use the Pakistanis so they could interfere with Iranian politics and to make Iran fold. And the Pakistanis believed that was a real mediation effort. I think this is going to change radically. The problem is they cannot confront the US frontally. No? Pakistan is under an IMF program, Nima. What can you do when you are a slave of the IMF? Nothing. So they have their hands tied. What they can do, and they're very good at it, is to keep the relations with Iran underground in safe places and continue to do business and trade and commerce and finance with Pakistani banks, etc., using Chinese banks as well. The Chinese banks, they don't care about secondary sanctions. All that can be arranged. And of course, they are all neighbors. And of course, there is the China umbrella behind, which is giving them all the support that they need.
I think what's important...
Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
I think what's important for the next BRICS summit in India is that the two countries, Iran and Russia, are somehow getting to the point that they have to continue the conflict, because there is the Trump administration simply capitulated to Israeli and Ukrainian lobby, that means that he's not going to get anything. Pepe, he continued the economic war on Iran, the financial war, the sanction on Iran till the last moment of his first administration. I assume that he's going to continue with the same thing. The only thing that has changed it was JCPOA. Today is the MOU. He withdrew from the MOU and he's going to continue it's the same.
He blew up the JCPOA and he just blew up the MOU. Yeah, exactly. So
that's exactly what it is.
Total economic war. Well, Iran is ready, and the partners and the neighbors are ready as well. I'm very curious to see if any of that will be discussed at the BRICS table.
No.
Probably not, especially because it's in India. And that's
maybe bilateral meetings they have.
In bilateral meetings, certainly. But at the BRICS table, forget it. Not with India presiding. And India, as we all know, is part of the international Zionist axis. So don't expect a final communique from BRICS, with something uplifting for the global south. It's going to be platitudes, it's going to be blah, blah, blah. If you look at the website that the Indians put on for BRICS, it's pathetic. There's nothing. There's nothing of substance. So that's already a signal that not much is going to happen in Delhi next month. I'm not even going. And many of us are not even going because it's a waste of time. Unfortunately, compared to Kazan, which was a groundbreaking, and even compared to Brazil last year, which was not as bad as many were expecting. In the end, Brazil saved the summit at the last minute. But this year, disaster.
Pepe, in this new war that he started, economic war, financial war, what does he want, Donald Trump wants from China, in your opinion? He's going to have a new meeting with Xi Jinping.
He cannot. You're right. Yeah, but he doesn't have any leverage, Nima. He has even less leverage compared to the visit to China. I was there at the time. I followed the visit in China. And the Chinese analysts were all saying the same thing. Okay, we're going to, red carpet, taking tea and all that. And the next day you forget about it. It's inconsequential. And we'll continue to do what we're doing. The same thing this time, even less leverage. Is he able to force China to do anything across Eurasia, and especially with Iran, when we know that Iran for China is a strategic partnership and it's a matter of national security? Nothing. Zero leverage. Is he going to threat secondary sanctions? The Chinese already proved that they don't care. And they told their own companies, don't even bother about secondary sanctions. It's illegal for you to comply with American secondary sanctions. You have to follow Chinese law. So that's it. No leverage whatsoever. Of course, we're going to have true social polls. We're going to have vociferations. We're going to have blah, blah, blah. We're going to have macho man posture and all that. But even inside the United States, most people are not buying that anymore. Only old MAGA fans, dwindling, by the way. Huh? So it's going to be a photo op for him, not much else, and zero substance. And the Chinese are not even taking it seriously. When you follow what they know, it's inconsequential.
What do you make of Donald Trump all of a sudden talking about Kim Jong-un? He wants to meet with him. He wants to talk with him.
Money.
What comes to your mind when?
I think the answer was we asked South Korea for money. There's no other explanation, Nima. There's no strategy. He doesn't even know what.
How about